What's up, guys? Simone Fan 101 here, and this is... You might want to settle in, kids. This is bound to be a long one. This is my Wrestle Kingdom 11 review. This show was friggin' awesome. The show was awesome. It was great. It was honestly one of the greatest pay-per-views I've ever seen. I even went back and rewatched it because it was that great. This is one of the greatest pay-per-views I've ever seen. It's up there with the likes of WrestleMania 17, SummerSlam and Survivor Series 2002, Heat Wave 98 with ECW, Canadian Stampede. It's up there. It's up there with one of the great pay-per-views. One of the truly great pay-per-views. And I think it actually might be better than the previous Wrestle Kingdoms, like Wrestle Kingdom 9 and Wrestle Kingdom 10. It might even be better than those shows. So this is going to be a long one, so let me just get right into the card. There were 11 matches on this card, including the pre-show. So, or the dark match, whatever you want to call it. The dark match was they called it the New Japan Rumble. It aired on New Japan World, which thankfully I was able to get a thing of. Even though this won't count towards the official show, being that it is technically New Japan's version of WrestleMania, I thought I might as well get into it. The New Japan Rumble, it's basically like the Royal Rumble. There were 14 participants, and whoever, outlasted everyone won the match. We had the first two contestants were Michael Elgin and Billy Gunn. Yes, indeed, Mr. Ass has come to Miss Wrestle Kingdom. Funny, he's been at WrestleMania, he's been at Bound for Glory, he's now at Wrestle Kingdom. Weird. So, Michael Elgin and Billy Gunn started out. I believe the show went, I think, if I recall correctly, every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, someone came into the match. It had to have. Well, maybe not every 2 minutes, because the match was about 25 minutes long. If it went every 2 minutes, it would have been 28 minutes long. So I'm gonna say every minute and a half, or heck, maybe even every minute. I don't know. Now, the New Japan Rumble, number 3, out came Bone Soldier. And for those of you who don't know, and who might know the other persona, Bone Soldier is actually Captain New Japan, who is basically a jobber to the stars. Number 4 is Cheeseburger. Yes, there is a wrestler called Cheeseburger. He wrestled in Ring of Honor. This guy literally is like a stick figure. He's like... he is just... the way his body is shaped, it's almost like, oh, the guy's called Cheeseburger. He's gonna need to eat cheeseburgers in order to something to beef him up to John Tenta, or like earthquake levels of beefy. Cheeseburger eliminated Bone Soldier. Michael Elgin eliminated Billy Gunn. Next came Jushin Thunder Liger. So, always good to see Jushin Liger. Out next came Kuniaki Kobayashi, who has no relation to Kenta Kobayashi, or Hideo Itami as we know him. Out next came Tiger Mask, who is the 4th Tiger Mask, although the guy is like 46 to 48 years old. He's 46 years old. He's gotta hang up the mantle of Tiger Mask and hand it on to someone else. Not to the guy who was in the opening match. I'll get to him in a second. We had Manabu Nakanishi. And now from this point on, I forget exactly who eliminated who and when. So forgive me here. We had Manabu Nakanishi. And I think it was actually around this point that Kobayashi got eliminated by Tiger Mask. Out next came Ryusuke Taguchi. And who is Prince Devitt's or Finn Balor's former Apollo 55 partner. Then came Yoshitatsu, who is healed and is wrestling again since his injury to AJ Styles, that debilitating neck injury. I'm glad he came back. Somewhere around this point, Manabu Nakanishi got eliminated by multiple wrestlers. Not long afterward, Jushin Liger got eliminated by a Tiger Mask. Aww. Well, don't worry, because almost immediately thereafter, Tiger Mask got eliminated by Taguchi. So, that Gucci. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yuji Nagata came out. Good to see Yuji Nagata. The most famous Wrestle Kingdom match I know him in was that match at Wrestle Kingdom 2 against Kurt Angle. A great match, by the way. Hiroshi Tenzan came out. I think it was around this point that... Oh, no, it wasn't. That Yoshitatsu got eliminated by Yuji Nagata. Or maybe it was when the next guy came out. Hiro Saito, who is also another wrestler who, like Kobayashi, came out of retirement for this match. The next one was Scott Norton. Yes, Scott Norton, the former IWGP champion, was in this match, which gave me a sense of happiness. I like Scott Norton. He's awesome. Well, he's not the greatest in ring, but he has got like a sense of like presence to him because he's like a big guy. He looks like a guy that could bury you over, at least back in the day. Although for some reason he reminds me of Rick Steiner. Maybe that's why. He reminds me of Rick Steiner. Maybe that's it. Scott Norton hit a devastating looking powerbomb on Ryusuke Taguchi and then promptly eliminated him. Before that, Saito eliminated Nagata. Elgin then pretty much cleaned house. He eliminated Hiro Saito, Tenzan, and Norton in that order. And then it came down to Michael Elgin and Cheeseburger. And, I think people were into Cheeseburger. He tried to fight valiantly against his complete opposite in terms of size. And, but Elgin overpowered him and eliminated him. Michael Elgin is your winner of the New Japan Rumble. Avenging his loss to Jay Lethal last year. So, good for Michael Elgin. Even if it did happen on the pre-show, good for him. The show really started up after this. Remember, that was a pre-show match, or a dark match. The show opened up with Tiger Mask W and Tiger the Dark. You're probably wondering, what the hell are those two guys? Well, so Tiger Mask W and Tiger the Dark, they're characters based off an anime TV show that is currently active in Japan. It's about remember for those of you who remember like Mucha Lucha? Think Mucha Lucha, but Japan and anime and a lot less silly, but still silly. Less for kids, I guess, but more for like anime people. Like an anime for wrestling fans, kind of. And New Japan saw this and decided, well, let's make a couple characters out of this. We can use them in New Japan. Guess who they got playing these two characters? Tiger the Dark is played by ACH, the former Ring of Honor star. Yes, that ACH. He left Ring of Honor. I think he's in New Japan, or just on the Indies, and then works for New Japan. And Tiger Mask W is played by none other than Kota Ibushi. Yes, Kota Ibushi is back in New Japan technically under the ring name of Tiger Mask, although with the new G1 Climax tournament coming up, at least he's coming back as himself. But yeah, Kota Ibushi coming back as Tiger Mask. That was weird. Tiger Mask W, not Tiger Mask. Tiger Mask W. So their masks are a lot. They have like these like weird looking masks, which I heard could make it a little bit of a problem for them to wrestle in. I can't agree with it. It may look silly, but I don't think that's the case. Because in one of the later shows, there was a match between Okada, and I will review that show, Okada and Tiger Mask W, aka Kota Ibushi, which was a pretty friggin' awesome match, I gotta say. So, this match, it only went like a little over 5 minutes, like 6 or 7 minutes. But they tried. They certainly tried with what they had. It was an okay match, but only because they were short on time. It was kind of just like a showcase match for the anime. But for the time it got, we got a little bit of good action. ACH or Tiger the Dark hit a wicked like twisting plancha over the top rope. Of course, Kota Ibushi hit his signature springboard moonsault from a top rope. He had the little like punch kick combo, which you knew was him. There was you could tell who these guys were. At least with ACH it was a little bit harder to tell, but with Ibushi you could immediately tell. Ibushi won with the like the last ride into the power bomb, the last ride set out power bomb kind of move. That's basically his power bomb is what got him the win. About 6 to 7 minutes in, he won the match. So good for Ibushi. At least he got a win at Wrestle Kingdom. Last time he was at Wrestle Kingdom, he lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. He wasn't at Wrestle Kingdom 10 because he was hurt. Out next came the Young Bucks and with Matt and Nick Jackson against Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero. I know he's either just called Beretta or at times other places he's called Trent with like a question mark. Screw that. Just to make it easier on myself, I call him Trent Beretta. I don't care what anybody says. I need to make sure I get this. So I'm calling him Trent Beretta, whether he likes it or not. This match was a really good match. By the way, I have like my paper here, score. I rewatched the show and I basically confirmed my star rating, so don't worry about that. Beretta and Rocky Romero had a really good match with the Young Bucks. Now, if it wasn't for the Tiger Mask gimmick, I'll bet you that this would have again opened up the show. Because remember, the last few years, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship opened up the show, usually in like a fatal four-way tag team kind of way, which was a little different here. That we got like just a regular tag team match between two teams instead of 4 or even 3. But I think it was well deserved. At one point, the Bucks tried to walk away, teasing a counter finish up the ramp. Beretta and Romero went after them. The Young Bucks suckered them in and super kicked both of them. It was a lot of really good high-flying action here. There were several points where one of the Bucks kept on trying to kick their opponent, but they kept on hitting anything but their opponent. They kept on kicking each other and and then they kicked one of the ringside officials, which I feel bad for the ringside official, actually. There was, then one of them, one of them, they were going for the Meltzer driver. They were going to go for the Meltzer driver. Rocky Romero got out of it. And then they hit the, oh man. Sometimes I get like one of those like flashes like in your eyes. Then, it's alright. Then they hit the contract killer, which basically, if you don't know what the contract killer is, basically Trent Beretta has one of the Bucks up on his shoulders in like a torture rack position, and then Rocky Romero goes up to the top rope in the corner and hits a knee on the opponent in the torture rack spot. So that's what they did to one of the Bucks here. It was nice. It was cool. There was another spot that was just nuts. Okay, here's what happened. One of the Bucks, and honestly, you could really exchange one of them for the other. they look not completely identical, but they look so similar that they're kind of like the Usos, where it's like, which Uso doesn't matter. They're both Usos. But there was a move where there was a move where one of the Bucks had Beretta in like a power bomb position, but not like a power bomb spot like normal. Like it was like a flip power bomb kind of thing. I honestly forget what they call it, but I'm just calling it the flip power bomb. You'd have to see it for yourself. But what happened was Rocky Romero and they were pointing at one of the corners. Rocky Romero and one of the other Bucks were going to springboard off the top rope to do a move. So what happened was the Buck, I believe that was Matt Jackson actually. He grabbed Romero in midair and bulldogged him to the ground. But while he was doing this, he made sure to kick Beretta, so that way his brother, I believe it was Nick, could hit the power bomb, like the slingshot power bomb. I think that's what they call it, slingshot power bomb. Which that was kind of a cool spot, admittedly. They did not get the win there, although it was awesome. One of them, Beretta, actually, both, I forget which, which of the Bucks was on the top rope. I think both, I think, see, it's like hard for me to tell like which one was on the top rope. One of them was on the top rope, presumably going to give Rocky Romero a superplex. Beretta jumps up, gets on the top turnbuckle, and delivers a super German suplex from the top rope. That wasn't even the craziest spot. The craziest spot, in my opinion, was when Trent Beretta went for a dive, an over-the-top rope dive on the Bucks outside. They moved, and they moved when Trent Beretta was in midair. So Trent Beretta landed back first on the mat. Like flat out back first on the mat. That had to suck. And Romero had to fight the Bucks all on his own. They tried pinning him. They tried the normal moves, the powerbomb in the corner. They even went for a draping 450 with one of the Bucks holding him up. But what happened was they were going for more bang for your buck. That was the move. They were going for more. They kept on hitting super kicks, but they went for more bang for your buck. Romero countered, rolled up one of the Bucks, but as he was rolling him up, the other one, who was on the top turnbuckle, couldn't move because Trent Beretta came up and grabbed their legs, so that way he wouldn't be able to break up the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. The Young Bucks lost the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Tag Team Championship, to Roppongi Vice. This was a really, really good match. And if this was the opener, I would not be shocked. But it wasn't. But even so, it was still a really, really good match and what ended up being one of the best shows ever. Go see it. And, well-deserved win for Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. Go out and hang out in Roppongi. At least that's what I'm pretty sure they did. Out next was, God, I forgot what the name of it is. It the IWGP 6-man championship? Is that what they call it? No, it was the never open weight 6-man tag team championship. Which basically means anybody, whether it's a heavyweight, a cruiserweight, or whatever, or light heavyweight as they usually call it, can compete for the titles. Doesn't matter who you are. And the defending champion, it was a gauntlet match though. And defending champions were David Finlay, the son of Fit Finlay, who's actually pretty good. Ricochet and New Japan veteran Satoshi Kojima against Los Ingobernables de Japón. I'm just gonna call him LIJ because it's much easier for me to pronounce. No shit. Then they were and the team that represented LIJ were Bushi, Sanada, and Evil, the former Takaki Watanabe. They were also against the Bullet Club, which was Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, and Hangman Page, the former Adam Page, for those of you Ring of Honor guys, and as well as the team of Chaos. Representing Chaos was Jado, Will Ospreay, and Yoshihashi. And I gotta say, and the entrances, I wish I could be Yujiro Takahashi. He's hanging around with these skimpy-wearing women who are wearing as little as they can. One of them was basically showing her ass, beautiful people style, in the ring. And I'm just like, why can't I be Yujiro Takahashi for one night? That would be awesome. If I could go out with at least one of these women, it would make me a very happy person. But yeah, so Bullet Club came out. They were up against Chaos. Some really good action here, I gotta say. But I gotta say, Bad Luck Fale, like, the guy got overweight. I mean, this is a big guy. But it almost looks like he keeps getting bigger, like in the belly area. Definitely the best workers in this match, at least the first part, were Yoshihashi, Hangman Page, and Will Ospreay. Easily the best. That's why they were working most of the time in the ring. But Will Ospreay did, a lot of flips and kicks, which was really cool. There was one point when he tried to go for a moonsault, landed on his feet. The opponent, he went for a moonsault. Opponent ran out, I think it was Page, moved out of the way, landed on his feet, went for another moonsault. Page again rolled out of the way toward the turnbuckle this time, not away from it. And then Will Ospreay hit a standing shooting star press. He ran slightly and then did a standing shooting star press. And then I think it was from the middle rope, he did a corkscrew, like a corkscrew splash, not like the spiral tap. It was from the it was with his back towards his opponent, so I don't know what that move is called, but it was still a really good move. Hangman Page also did a lot here. There was at one point where Hangman Page, he was running along the apron and hit a running shooting star press onto Will Ospreay, and I believe it was not a PK. It was with a Miz. It was with a Miz styled DDT, like the way how Miz does his DDTs. Yujiro Takahashi did that to Jado, and they got the first fall. Out came LIJ, Evil, Bushi, and Sanada. They only went a couple minutes against Bullet Club, but for the couple minutes it was actually kind of fun. But it didn't last long as they took over. At some point, the referee got knocked down. Bushi did a tope with a chair wrapped around him. I think it was Yujiro. A chair wrapped around Yujiro. Evil took a steel chair and hit this guy. Again, steel chair against steel chair into Yujiro's neck, basically. And then Sanada got a dragon sleeper on him, and he either tapped out or passed out. Either way, they got it. Out came the champions, David Finlay, Ricochet, and Satoshi Kojima. This was probably the best part of the match, because unlike in the previous matches where you had you had Jado, who I guess wasn't known for being the greatest wrestler, especially at his age now, and Bad Luck Fale. You had some guys who were not exactly the greatest, even if some of them were okay. Here in this match, almost everyone did play their part perfectly. Even Kojima, who's I think is already in his 40s. But everyone, and this was definitely the best part of the match. Heck, freaking Ricochet hit a 619 a la Rey Mysterio. He must have learned something from his match with Rey at Ultima Lucha Dos when he was Prince Puma. Kojima, of course, was the veteran that, got, I guess, the most amount of reaction. There was a sick move though. If you remember Roderick Strong's finisher, where not the sick kick, but the other one, where he gets like a suplex position, but then he like flips the opponent in midair and then does like a backstabber. David Finlay did that, except he did that onto Ricochet's knees, not his own. So that was kind of cool. There was another spot, and this spot was botched. Evil, like Ricochet was running at Evil. He threw him up toward, I think it was Bushi. He threw him up towards Bushi, and was trying to hit a code breaker, but similar to how Randy Orton tried to hit the RKO on one of the Singh brothers a week or two back, his body wasn't completely forward. That is Ricochet's body. And it didn't look that good. But that was the only thing that looked a little botched. He still hit the move. It just didn't look right. Sonata was really good here. Not surprising considering that he did have great matches in TNA. At least a couple of them. After Mist was spat into Kojima's eyes, beat Evil. He hit like a fireman's carry move, and then he hit the STO, I believe it was the STO, for the win. So, and now, at least at that time, I don't know if they still are, but at that time, new champions were LIJ. Now, next was basically another showcase match, a 10-minute showcase match between Juice Robinson and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes making his Wrestle Kingdom debut. This match, I will say, it wasn't a bad match. Not at all a bad match, but I felt like it could have been better. Maybe it was just the amount of work he was putting in, but Cody Rhodes, not that he was bad, but there was a couple things which did look a little off. Although I will say, match did start off hot at one point with Cody Rhodes trying to do a springboard plancha over the top rope, and the way he does it, he doesn't like do it like Hiroshi Tanahashi does it, like with the high fly flow or something like that, or Okada does over the barricade. He does it in a safe way, so that way he doesn't totally hurt his opponent. But Juice Robinson, the former CJ Parker, caught him and then did a belly to belly suplex onto the mat, which was cool. There was a moment, where he channeled his inner Goldust, except instead of hitting him in the face with his hand, he kicked him in the head. He did the Alabama Slam, Hardcore Holly. But there were a couple of times when the moves that they were doing didn't hit all the way, and it was made really apparent depending on the angle. CJ Parker, Juice Robinson went for, he had him like a fireman's carry position, and what happened was he was going to lift him up in the air, and then Cody Rhodes was going to land stomach and chest first into Robinson's knees. Problem was, Cody, instead of landing just stomach first, he landed on his feet. So the move looked really bad. They tried, I'll admit, they moved looked really bad. And it wasn't the only one. There was another spot where Cody tried to do a disaster kick. He obviously, he missed Robinson's face by a few inches. And I was like, man, a couple of the moves just were not connecting. And I have to think maybe Juice Robinson was not in position for that second one, but Cody standing on the first move was not the greatest. Although I will say there was a cool moment immediately after the botched disaster kick where he basically, I guess, pulled a Randy Orton with the draping DDT, except instead from the middle rope, he did it from the top rope, and that was kind of fun because we knew what he was parodying there. Robinson went for a powerbomb, I think, but earlier in the match, Cody chopped him in the leg. so he could not hit the power bomb. And then Cody basically countered and got the crossroads for the win. I'll be right back. I just have to real quickly fill up my water bottle because I feel like my throat is giving out on me. I'll be right back. Ah. Okay, I'm back. Got my water bottle here, so if my throat keeps on giving out on me, I'll just drink, and it'll help out at least for a few minutes each time. Out next was the Ring of Honor Championship match between Kyle O'Reilly, who is the Ring of Honor champion, and Adam Cole, who's invoking his rematch clause on this show. Remember, Kyle O'Reilly had just won the title a month earlier at Final Battle. So I'm like, okay, Kyle O'Reilly's going to go in this, retain the title, and leave. Boy, was I shocked. They both came out. I think they came out to different music due to the fact that their music is owned by Ring of Honor. So I guess New Japan, even though they're under a deal, they can't use their music. It's copyrighted. At least if you're watching New Japan World. If you were just watching the straight-up pay-per-view, I think you still heard their music. But on New Japan World, it's different. I don't know. I really don't. Doesn't matter anyway. They came out, and they did the Code of Honor thing where they both shook hands, and then Adam Cole spat in Kyle O'Reilly's face, and Kyle O'Reilly, he didn't really change his expression, which probably meant that he was a little bit pissed, and he just wanted to kick this guy's ass as soon as the bell rang. Which he did. He kept on hitting arm bars. This match, here's the thing. This match was not a bad match. It was a good match, but I felt like with the time that was given to them, I think they got like about 12 minutes. I think they could have done a lot more in this match. Actually, no, they got 10 minutes, which for a Ring of Honor World Championship, especially with as much prestige as it has, being held by the likes of Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, CM Punk, Homicide, Kevin Steen, both members of the Wolves, Jay Lethal, Low Key, all those guys, Christopher Daniels afterward. The match should go more than 10 minutes, so maybe it was just time constraint. They were trying to do all they could within 10 minutes, but it was still a good match. It just wasn't as great as I wanted it to be, considering it was at Wrestle Kingdom. But they tried. It seems like they stiffed each other, with Kyle O'Reilly hitting a good knees and forearm smashes, German suplexes. But and then Adam Cole started taking charge. With several super kicks and basically his own variation of the Boston Knee Party that was adopted by Eddie Edwards. That's his official finisher. Although there was at one point when Adam Cole had Kyle O'Reilly stuck in a corner. He went outside, used a steel chair, and then attacked Kyle O'Reilly in front of the referee. Honestly, and somebody did tell me, why didn't they just do that before the match? He ambushes Kyle O'Reilly before the match. You're in New Japan. You're not in Ring of Honor. You ambush him before the match. Attack him so that way Kyle O'Reilly has to fight back as hard as he could, despite the fact that this guy got hurt. And it was like the Daniel Bryan chair shot by Triple H before, at WrestleMania and before WrestleMania. There was a couple of good spots. O'Reilly, kept on hitting a bunch of fists, like straight up hard punches towards Adam Cole, then got this guy. with a brain buster, which was cool. And I'm serious. This guy's kicks are just friggin' insane. Like, I do not want to be kicked by Kyle O'Reilly. I get the feeling he'll break my leg off. Oh man, I feel like my neck's gonna give out of me. Cole, Cole kept on hitting Shining Wizard. I almost forgot what the move is called. I kept on calling it the Boston Meat Party. It's basically a Shining Wizard. He had 2 Shining Wizards. He had the last shot, which is basically very similar to the move that Hirooki Goto and AJ Styles used, the Ushigoroshi. He basically uses, it's called the last shot. He uses, and that's supposed to be his finish. Kyle O'Reilly kicked out, but then Adam Cole hit a bunch of super kicks while Kyle O'Reilly was on his knees. Then Adam Cole hit another last shot and got the win. And Adam Cole is your only ever 3-time Ring of Honor champion. And I was really sad to see that he had to lose the belt. And, at the time you're probably wondering, why would he lose the belt? That doesn't make any sense. Well, here's the thing. Kyle O'Reilly was being paid on a per appearance date. His contract essentially with Ring of Honor was over. And he was only making, because he didn't know whether or not he's going to WWE. We still don't know if he's going to WWE or not. Although Bobby Fish is there, so odds are Kyle O'Reilly was not far behind. But what happened was, he did not re-sign with Ring of Honor, even though he's their champion. And they built this storyline for months and months that Kyle O'Reilly, even at one point bringing back their old tag team, which was a Future Shock. That was their old tag team. They brought it back for a few matches, and then when he had a Ring of Honor title shot, Adam Cole turned. He was starting to slowly turn babyface, but then turned heel again on Kyle O'Reilly. And it was a story that built up for months. And then at Final Battle, O'Reilly finally got the win over Adam Cole for the championship at Final Battle. And it's sad that he had to lose the title back because Ring of Honor was worried that he would just take the belt and up and leave. So it is sad that they couldn't keep the title on him just a little bit longer. But if there was any consolation, we got a Christopher Daniels title run out of it, so good for Daniels. Oh man. And it's very appropriate because I was trying to, after the match, I was trying to, actually, not after the match, but I was, last night and this morning, I was trying to find links to the, the G1 US special, where they were going to crown the new, like, IWGP, like, US champion or something like that. And then they announced it on this show that it would take place July 1st and 2nd. Today is July 2nd. So, okay then. Next up was a fun tag team match with the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Roa, who is Camacho from WWE, defending their IWGP Tag Team titles against Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano, representing Chaos, and Great Bash heel, Tomoaki Honma and Togi Makabe. Before I get into one of the obvious parts of this match was pretty good. This match was pretty good. Not as good as the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match that almost opened the show, but it was still a pretty good match. Makabe was a hard-hitting guy, as he should be. He's like a strong-styled dude. Tama Tonga, I think, is really good. A little bit, maybe a little bit, like, he could be better. But he's really good. Better than his dad was, and better than Tonga Loa. It is Tonga Lao, right? Because or Loa, or Tonga Rao. Sometimes it's called Tonga Lao, but I'm gonna go by what New Japan says. It's Tonga Rao. I will get to him in a second, just in a second. Just give me 1 second. The match itself was really good. And it was entertaining. The headbutts, of course, from Tomoaki Honma was awesome. Tomohiro Ishii, stiff bastard as always. But really the stars of this match were the Guerrillas of Destiny, the defending championships. The winner of the match ended up being Toru Yano and Tomohiro Ishii. Honestly, I thought the title should have gone to Great Bash Heel, but that's just me. Probably because I'm not the biggest Toru Yano fan. I get it. He's supposed to be entertaining, like the comedy act. But you can be a comedy act and still be a good wrestler. Toru Yano does little to none of that. But that's not what made this match good. No. What made this match good was the Tonga Roa and Tama Tonga, specifically Tonga Roa, constantly swearing. There were times throughout the match when Tonga Roa would be attacked. He would, I think the first time he did a suplex to somebody, he said "fuck you," and then he pointed at his partner and "fuck you too." And Kevin Kelly, I forget who did the commentary. It was Kevin Kelly, and I think it was actually Steve Corino. But they were like, "Oh, okay." Like Kevin Kelly, he was not expecting Tonga Roa to do that. There was another point when he was getting hit in the face by, I think it was Tomoaki Honma, or maybe it was Togi Makabe. But he's like, "Ah, you motherfucker!" And then he got hit again, and he's like, "I hate you, you motherfucker," or "fuck you." He got them saying that. Or "fuck that shit." Was this guy watching the Angry Video Game Nerd before watching this before being in this match? I wonder if that was it. There was another part where he kicked somebody in the face, and while he was kicking him in the face, he told them to eat shit. And it was actually at that moment right there, that specific moment right there, that Kevin Kelly lost it on commentary. He had no choice but to laugh because he did not see this coming. And who would? When I first watched this match, I didn't see it coming. I'm like, what the hell? What is going on? Go out of your way to watch this match, specifically to hear Camacho from WWE swearing constantly. That was awesome. They didn't need, and I wish Great Bash Heel won the titles, but hey, we still got a good match out of it. And hey, Tomohiro Ishii is a tag team champion, so at least we got that. But then we come to the final 4 matches of the night. These matches are all fucking awesome. These 4 matches are the reason, among the fact that there were still good matches throughout the show, these 4 matches right here are the reason why this is one of the greatest pay-per-views ever. Here's the first one. Kushida was defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Hiromu. I believe it was Hiromu. It was Hiromu. Hiromu Takahashi, who is actually the former. Oh God, he went by several names because he went to Mexico and he competed in Ring of Honor. He was the former Kamai Itachi in Ring of Honor. I think for a while he only went by Takahashi before. But yeah, this guy is really, really good. And anybody who's watched Kushida matches with anybody, they also know he's really, really good. Kamai Itachi was awesome. Hiromu Takahashi, they're the same person, but I think that's actually his real name. They had a kick-ass high-flying match here. The first dive was like the first dive that Kushida did was already like almost death-defying. How he did it. There was a point when Takahashi hit a powerbomb onto the mat from the apron onto Kushida, so that had to suck. The way this guy does the super kicks was good. All the moves that they were doing in this match was really, really fun. The German suplexes, admittedly, were pretty good. I will say, there was one botched spot that... So what was going to happen was... Takahashi was on the... sorry about that. I had to readjust my seat. Takahashi was on the top rope. On the turnbuckle. And Kushida was hanging off the rope a few feet from him. Inside the ring. Now, I think the spot they were going to try to do... The spot they were going to try to do was Takahashi would jump up, do a Hurricane Rana. He was going to jump and do a jumping Hurricane Rana onto Kushida, and Kushida and both of them would barrel over the top rope. That did not happen. Whether or not it was because Kushida was out of his position or Takahashi went too close inside the ring. Instead, what ended up happening is he basically did a weird botched variation of Rey Mysterio's seated senton. He basically did a seated senton just grabbing the ring ropes. They both ended up going outside anyway. But and you couldn't even say like, oh, these Kushida's had like whiplashed against the rope. That would have sucked. But he didn't even hit the rope. So that was the only botched spot, but they immediately made up for it when Takahashi did a dive, like a senton style dive, from the top rope on the turnbuckle to Kushida on the floor. That was awesome. He did the Sasha Banks knees, as I like to call it. There was one move. There was one move in this match that was really cool. It was when I think that one of them was going for like a power bomb. Takahashi battled out of it. And then he was running along the apron. He was going to do some kind of plancha or some kind of drop kick onto Kushida. Kushida caught him in midair, but he didn't catch him doing like a European uppercut or a drop kick or, I don't know, a punch. No, he caught this guy in midair to do an arm bar, like an Alberto Del Rio style arm bar. That was awesome. That was great. And you know, the arm ended up being a target a little bit for a while for Takahashi. There was another move when Takahashi did from the top rope. He did like it was like a wheelbarrow style move, like a wheelbarrow powerbomb, I guess. You know, Kushida was showing extra aggression in this match, which was really good. Because I hate it when some high-flying guys just go through the flow. Much like the guy who originally played Sin Cara in WWE before Hunico took over the role. You know, Kushida kept on attacking the arm, but I forget what was the move exactly called. It was basically it was basically like a wheelbarrow style powerbomb. And it was really, really good. And then he hit I guess it was his finisher. I forget what it's called. Here, let me look up what his finisher was called, because I must know. Because it looked cool. It was basically like it was like a tilt-a-whirl into like, it's called not the fisherman suplex. It's called a time bomb. A fireman's carry swung over into an over-the-shoulder, back-to-belly pile driver. So basically, a fireman's carry into a back-to-belly pile driver, where the guy lands probably on his neck or his head, which I gotta say, that move looked freaking devastating. That move was just devastating looking, and that is what actually won him the championship. Hiromu Takahashi won the title in what was the least of the four like high star matches, but it was still an amazing match and easily the best cruiserweight / high flying match all year. better than any of the Cruiserweight matches that WWE has done so far. They should just bring in for one match, bring in Hiromu Takahashi and Neville, work 20 to 30 minutes on pay-per-view, or 20 minutes on pay-per-view, and just kick ass. That would be awesome. And don't have Neville like say, dude, don't do any of your like heel stuff in terms of constantly doing arm bars and like headlocks. No, just do high flying the way that these guys do it, and you'll put on a great match. Because it works. It works. The next match was Katsuyori Shibata defending his never openweight championship against Hirooki Goto. Now, this match, I like the story because they actually told us the story of what was going on in this match. Basically, what happened was Hirooki Goto, as we know, lost the G1 Climax last year. He was in the finals. He lost to Kenny Omega. And by the way, it was actually an absolutely fantastic match. And Shibata, who was, keep in mind, his tag team partner, he was once his rival and then became tag team partners with him for a couple of years, started to resent Goto because Goto was constantly losing. And Shibata, he does not like to be around, he was friends with Goto, but he does not like to be around losers, and that became the impetus for the breakup. Not exactly sure whether or not Shibata was a heel or face, or just a guy who was like, dude, you're a loser. I do not want to be around a guy who loses all the time. And eventually took it out too far in Goto, and eventually had a match against each other at Wrestle Kingdom. This match was, like the previous match, a little bit better, but still a great, fantastic match. Shibata and Goto went in there and had a stiff match. I mean, the moves that these guys would hit on each other, I'm like, oh, man. Like, those guys are probably feeling it the next day, and being like, oh, man, that hurt. You know, several suplexes, like Saito suplexes and clotheslines. There was a top rope elbow, not like a Randy Savage elbow, more like a leap of faith elbow that Goto hit on Shibata. Shibata, for some reason, had, like, bandages on him, although I don't think they came into any real play. I think that's just what Shibata is. More stiff clotheslines and stiff kicks from Shibata. Shibata hit some really stiff kicks, I gotta say. You know, suplexes galore. If there was any match that was a suplex machine, it was this match. There was also attacks to the head by Goto. First, you know, which of course his finisher is a move where it aims at the neck and head. So that actually makes sense. He wants to soften it up. Including like a front suplex to Shibata's face onto his knee, which was just devastating. Yeah, but these guys went to war. They beat the absolute hell out of each other. Goto, of course, hit a Guroshi. He hit one of Matt Morgan's old finishers, which was the suplex, like a delayed suplex spot into a Uranage, like a set out Uranage, and then Goto just hit rapid fire headbutts to this guy. Not which begs the question, like, why would Shibata? I get Shibata's strong style. He was like Chris Benoit, where it's like, if you're gonna hit me, hit me. Actually, like, really freaking hit me, like, hard. And, of course, he was setting him up, of course, for the GTR. He did, like, a reverse GTR, which, usually when he does a GTR, he has it in, like, an inverted DDT spot. But instead, he had it in a regular DDT spot, and then hit the GTR as it's supposed to be, and then he won the match. He won the never openweight title, proving Shibata wrong that he can win the big one when it really comes down to it. And this was a big match for him. This was a storyline match that basically portrayed Goto as the guy who was constantly losing throughout the year, wanting to get that one big win, and he got it. And I got to give them a lot of props for doing that. Then came the second semi-main event of the night, which was Tetsuya Naito defending the IWGP Intercontinental Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi for the first time ever, or almost ever. Tanahashi was not in the main event. Keep in mind, in the first 10 Wrestle Kingdoms, he was in at least 8 or 9 of those main events. This, even in the one where it was for the Intercontinental title, and it was him and Shinsuke Nakamura. This was back in 2014, I believe. It was Wrestle Kingdom 8. Instead of Okada and Naito going on last, it was Tanahashi and Nakamura for the Intercontinental title, which probably was deserving, considering the talent involved, and because they wanted to give prestige to the Intercontinental belt. But Tanahashi came out, wrestling the leader of LIJ, Tetsuya Naito, who is a great heel, I gotta say. These guys had the second best match of the night. Basically, each great match was better and better than the one before it. These guys had a friggin' kick-ass match, and on many shows would have been the match of the night. Not this night. But it was really good. Of course, Naito going after Tanahashi's knee or leg. I think at the same time, Naito did the same thing to Tanahashi. Of course, the first major spot was when Tanahashi hit a sling blade onto Naito on the apron, which of course is the hardest part of the ring, as everyone will tell you. And then hit the high fly flow from the top turnbuckle to the floor on the Naito. So, crazy spot there. Keep in mind, Tanahashi turns 41 this year. He was 40 when this match happened. How this guy is not a freaking stick, shell of his former self, I have no idea. But Tanahashi really is one of the all-time great Japanese wrestlers, if not one of the all-time great wrestlers. Top rope Hurricane Rana, that pretty much says it. Every top rope move, I'm afraid for his life. I will say, though, Naito does hit one cool-looking flying forearm smash. He probably has the best one ever. I know there have been other people that done it, like Shawn Michaels always did it. But I gotta say, Naito does it better. He hit this weird submission. It was like a leg lock submission. But I don't know what it's called. But it looked devastating, but at the same time, it didn't look as devastating as it should have. Maybe it's just me. But I'm glad I saw a different kind of submission here. It's always nice to look at something different, or at least something that's not seen that often. Tanahashi hit one high fly flow, missed the second one, and he tried to hit a move. I think not a Hurricane Rana, but yeah, he missed the second high fly flow. It looked like he was setting Naito up so Naito could do the Hurricane Rana, but he didn't. Instead, Naito hit oh man, hold on a second. He hit the Destino onto Tanahashi as a counter. He did not get the pinfall there, though. Snap suplexes, dragon suplexes, more high fly flows from Tanahashi. He hit one on Tanahashi's back, not on Tanahashi's back, on Naito's back. Naito was now on his back, showing his stomach. Tanahashi went up top rope for another high fly flow. Naito got the knees up and hit not one but two Destinos onto him. The first Destino he hit, it was like a tilt-a-whirl Destino from one of the turnbuckles. That did not get the pin. Then he had a third Destino and got the pin, beating Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom, which very few have been able to do. Nakamura did it at Wrestle Kingdom 2. And Okada did it last year. But rarely does... It's kind of like John Cena. Rarely does Tanahashi lose at Wrestle Kingdom. Here he did. Against Naito, which... Naito needed this win. Because remember, if you remember the previous year, Wrestle Kingdom 10... Naito lost to Hirooki Goto when he was on the rise as a heel. Which didn't make any sense, because a couple months later, he would win the IWGP Championship. But here, he won the, he retained his title, the Intercontinental title, in a big win. Big win! Which was cool. And then came the legendary match that, of course, Dave Meltzer gave 6 stars. I will not break the star rating, because I think Dave Meltzer just has a fucking hard-on for New Japan matches. Sometimes he gives matches that are clearly 5 stars. There's matches that are, he gives them, like, sometimes 4 3/4, or 4.5, or maybe even some cases 4 1/4. I think the last 5-star match he only gave 5. There's only 5 US matches, or 5 WWE matches that he ever gave 5 stars to, which was Shawn and Razor at WrestleMania 10, Owen and Brett at SummerSlam, Austin and Brett at WrestleMania 13, and I believe the Hell in a Cell match between HBK and Shawn Michaels, and CM Punk and John Cena. That's it. Even though many people argue there have been many other 5-star matches over the years. Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage. You know, the first Brett and Owen match at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. Yeah, he doesn't get those 5 stars for whatever reason. Yet here, he's willing to break the barrier of 5-star and give it 6 stars, and then he gave the next match 6 1/4. And I'm like, fuck that. I think too many people take Dave Meltzer's word for gospel. But I think this guy obviously prefers Japanese wrestling over American wrestling. Even when American wrestling is 5-star potential, he never gives it to them because fuck us, I guess. It's just one guy, anyway. Okada and Tanahashi. Not Okada and Tanahashi. Okada and Kenny Omega. I mean, this match ruled. This really was one of the best New Japan matches ever. I will agree with Meltzer on that. It really was one of the best New Japan matches ever. But 6 stars? Come on. I'm not going to break the 5-star barrier. These guys went... I actually timed it. These guys went over 45 minutes. The last American match that I know that went 45 minutes, that was not an hour-long Iron Man match, was Shawn Michaels and Triple H at Bad Blood 2004 inside Hell in a Cell. You know, there were a lot of spots that were really, really good. A lot of great technical wrestling. A little bit of some great high flying. Some great strong style. You had a little bit of everything here in this match. You know, there was at one point where they revisited a spot from the Tanahashi match last year when Omega was outside the barricade, or was past the barricade, I should say, and Okada dived over the barricade to hit Kenny Omega, which was cool. Kenny Omega, he also has this one move. It's similar to a Famouser, but it's not like a Famouser like how Billy Gunn does it. But this one is like he jumps from behind the person and then like brings their head down under his leg. Or at least that's the point. And you know that just so many. There were so many great spots in this match. So many counters too. There were a lot of counters to like a lot of the moves. Hell, at one point, you know, brain busters, and then Okada hits like a knee onto into Kenny Omega's face, which actually looked like it kind of hurt. Kenny Omega hit a over-the-top rope tope, a dive onto Okada outside. Now, it would not be the first dive that he would take. Even a drop kick to the back of the head. Not the back of the head. That looked like it hurt. But these guys, they, in this match, they showed fantastic chemistry together that was really good. Heck, they did something that usually you don't do in Okada matches, which is you counter the top rope elbow. Nobody really ever counters that top rope elbow that Tanahashi does. Well, Omega did. They really went all out. There was this one spot which had to have been devoted in some way to Kota Ibushi, who actually is Kenny Omega's former DDT tag team partner and I believe best friend in real life. He ran from one side of the ring to the other, one turnbuckle to the other, jumped up on the top turnbuckle, except it was the rope right next to the top turnbuckle instead of the turnbuckle line, and hit a moonsault from the ring over the barricade to where the announcers were. That was awesome. There was another spot not long after that had Okada laying on the mountain floor. There was a table. It was like it was a long, but it was like in terms of width, it was not that wide, but it was like a long wooden table. Kenny Omega ran up on the apron, and Okada was on the ground, on the mat. The table was on top of Okada, and Kenny Omega ran and hit a double foot stomp onto the table with Okada under it. Also a really cool spot. He did a Michael Elgin where he hit a power bomb, and he just picked him back up and hit another power bomb. Some people would call that a Brock Lesnar because he did that in his debut, actually, back in 2002 to a Spike Dudley. And there was this one six spot, which reminded me too much of that match between Sting and Rick Rude in Japan. What happened was, at one point, Kenny Omega, I believe, set up the table outside. He could not get Okada through the table, so they went back in and did more moves where the powerbomb happened, including that awesome fireman's carry, roll into a moonsault from the middle rope from the corner. No, but what happened was, Kenny Omega was running at Okada, at Kazuchika Okada. Okada backdropped him over the ring, over the ropes, onto the table. Now keep in mind, there are lifted platforms. There are lifted platforms where the mats are, so there's a break between the actual floor and the mat. And what happened was, back in, I believe, 1993, if I'm not mistaken, Sting did the exact same thing to Rick Rude. However, Rick Rude landed right at the edge of this guy, of the mat, of the elevated platform, which, even though he finished the match, that ultimately fucked up his back and ended up causing his retirement, which is really, really sad that it basically caused his retirement. He wrestled a novelty match in ECW, but other than that, he was retired. Kenny Omega did the exact same fucking thing. The only difference was that they actually had a table in the way, and on the way down, Kenny Omega hit the table. I feared for this guy's life. I think if it wasn't for that table, Kenny Omega would be retired now and would not be wrestling ever again. Thank God that table was there. Maybe they knew that and decided, look, I want to do this spot, but I'm afraid, so let's put the table here so that way I can kind of try to cushion my fall a little bit. So thankfully he lived. Okada hit his moves. Finally hit the top rope elbow. There was one spot that was also death-defying, more so for Okada than Omega. Because keep in mind, Omega was the one doing all the dangerous shit. This guy's crazy. But he did a dragon suplex from the top rope onto Okada right on top of this guy's head. Right on his head. And I also feared for Okada's life at this point. I'm like, that's it. These guys, they're both going to die. They are going to die in this match, and I will never see them again. He at one point had like a variation of Adam Cole's last call. He kept on going for the knees because basically Omega's shtick is that he steals shit from other guys he doesn't steal it from them on purpose, but he does it like a tribute to them. That's why in several matches before, we've seen him do the 450, or at least attempt to. We see him do the Ibushi Powerbomb. We see him do the Styles Clash. We see him do the Bloody Sunday. And we see him do the Bomaye knee that Nakamura does. Of course, obviously, those moves are not his finishers, but those are moves that he uses. Like that springboard moonsault thing, that's also an Ibushi thing. That's I kind of like how he incorporates those moves. So he eventually hit several upon several upon several knees throughout the ending of the match. Omega hit his first of like what was like 4 or 5 4 or 5 Rainmakers. There was another spot where Omega hit like a reverse package pile driver. And by the way, he hit more Bomaye knees. He had a lot of knees in here at the final stretch. There was another counter, which landed a second Rainmaker. I think and Omega kicked out of that one as well. I think Okada went for a third, and then Ibushi. Omega hit constant knees to this guy's head. But Okada was barely hanging on to Omega's wrist. Hit a third Rainmaker. And then I think there was like another Rainmaker. He did not get the pin. There was another Rainmaker attempt. Omega countered it with his own Rainmaker style, except he put the knee up instead of a clothesline. Much like how Seth Rollins' new finisher works, the Rainmaker into a knee. He went for a tombstone, then a la Undertaker from 2010 to Shawn Michaels, not reversing it, but Okada reversed it and hit a jumping tombstone pile driver. I haven't seen one since 7 years ago. I think that was the first one in a long time, since 7 years ago on a main stage, where someone hit a jumping tombstone pile driver. Last one was Undertaker did it to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 26, which was actually the last move that Shawn took before his retirement. He hit a fourth Rainmaker after that jumping tombstone. Finally pinned Omega. After 46 minutes, he cut a promo, and and the crowd cheered. Crowd went home happy. I'll bet you. This match was awesome. This is honestly, I didn't see another match topping this at all. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see another match topping it. But I haven't seen it yet because I'm waiting till I actually watch the show, Dominion that is. But I hear that everyone tells me that they were able to top themselves at Dominion a couple weeks ago with Okada and Omega. Going for a 60-minute draw. One of the greatest pay-per-view shows I got of all time. My throat's burning because I'm talking so passionately and so heartfelt about this show. It's because I fucking love this show. The show is absolutely amazing. God damn, I just checked the time. 1 hour and 14 minutes. God damn. I told you it was going to be a long show. So with that said, guys, gotta get up and stretch. Be well, stay safe. I'll see you next time, guys, with my WCPW Kirby Mania review. So until next time, guys,